Alright guys, now I'm going to be talking about the enchanting, how you should enchant all your gear. All the enchants currently are pretty straightforward for Hunter. There are a few alterations that you can do depending on how you play, etc. But I'll give you the basic rundown of how I enchant, and then I'll tell you the personal choices that you can choose instead. The Helm enchant from the Ramkahen and Oldham, it's just the 60 agility, 35 haste. It's the only one you can get that's useful for Hunters, so that one's an obvious choice. Shoulder enchant, 50 agility, 25 mastery, is from Therazane, Exalted Reputation. That one's, the only one that you can get also, so pretty straightforward choice on that one. Cloak enchant, I choose the 65 crit rating. But previously I was using the Wrath agility enchant, which was I think 22 agility to cloak, but finding out that the stat value on crit and agility is higher, but this much crit rating compared to the 22 agility outweighs it, so therefore the 65 crit rating gives a overall better DPS increase than the 22 agility cloak enchant. Chest, 28 all stats. That one again straightforward, nothing else that you can get that's beneficial. My secondary profession is leatherworking, so I do have this 130 agility enchant in my bracers. The other ones that you guys would get if you're not leatherworking is the 50 agility to bracers. Two-handed weapon is 130 agility. Bow, the Flintlock's Woodchucker. This one's new, came out with 4.2 with the Molten Front dailies. After you complete so many dailies, you unlock these vendors and you can get all these new patterns, and that's where you can pick up the engineering pattern for this one. So that's currently the best ranged weapon enchant that you can get. Boots. This one is one of the optional ones that you can do. You can either choose 35 agility, the one I have, or you have the 25 agility plus minor run speed increase. The minor run speed increase is okay for movement fights if you're moving a lot, but I see it like you only want to take that if you are kind of slow at reacting or you don't use your utility tools like to the maximum. For instance, like Major Domo and stuff, like it's easier to avoid the leaping flames to keep your concentration high, if you have that run speed. But I find disengage and all that, just smart playing, you can dodge everything without that extra run speed. So I choose to go with the 10 extra agility for bigger DPS increase. Leg enchant, 190 attack power, 55 crit. That's the only one that's beneficial. Get that. Belt buckle, obviously, and then the gloves. The current Cataclysm enchant for Hunters is 65 mastery, but I choose to go with the old school Wrath enchant, 20 agility, simply because the mastery rating is useless in a aim shot rotation. Because while you're hard casting aim shot, you are not casting any auto shots, and that's where your mastery comes from. Every time your auto shots deal damage, you have a chance to proc an additional shot. But if you're hard casting aim shot all the time, mastery stat value actually lowers. So therefore, the 20 agility outweighs the 65 mastery in this case. Alright. Reforging. Okay, this one's pretty simple. Obviously, you want to go for the hit cap, which is 8%. I don't know the exact hit rating numbers that you need, so I would look on websites like Elitist Jerks or whatever to find out the exact hit rating number that you would need. But 8% is what you want. I'm at 8.02, which is as close as I can get to 8 without going under. And being under hit rating is bad. It's a huge DPS loss. If you miss one shot, it's going to severely impact on your DPS. But Reforging, let's see. Crit rating is your highest secondary stat, followed by haste, then mastery. Some people like to use Arcane Shot as a focus dump, which changes the stat values of your secondary stats just barely. Your crit rating is still your highest, and then haste is, but you want haste only up to 1235 haste rating with the 3 and 3 in pathing on the survival tier, and then mastery, then excess haste. But considering that I use a aim shot focus dump, I want as much haste as possible, which puts it at crit, haste, mastery. So your reforging option is going to be get to hit cap, then it's going to be does your gear have crit on it? No. Reforge your lowest secondary stat into it, which would be, in this case, mastery, which is what I did with this neck. I had haste mastery on it. I didn't have crit, so I reforged the haste I reforged the mastery in the crit rating. Shoulders, I did not reforge simply because I got lucky with the drop on Heroic Bedswag, and they already have crit haste, which is the best that you can get. And then obviously on this one, mastery hit rating, I need the hit rating to stay over hit cap, so I dropped the mastery to pick up, crit. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. If mastery crit on here, haste is better than mastery. Reforge the mastery into haste. Same with this one. This one had haste hit on it. I was over hit capped, so I reforged the excess hit on these into 78 crit rating. Same thing on these bracers. I had haste and hit rating. Didn't have crit. I needed a hit rating, so I reforged the excess haste into crit. And it's just going to be pretty simple all the way through. Same setup. You want crit rating and haste on all your gear. If you need the extra hit, go ahead and get it. And yeah, a really good website I use for this is askmrrobot.com. He puts your haste as your second highest secondary stat, which means he will try to optimize your gear as best it can for reforging to get to hit rating, then get as much crit as possible, then get as much haste as possible, followed by mastery. And I use that website to do all the math for me to get the best possible reforging out of all my gear. Okay. This next part of the video I'm going to be explaining glyphs, what glyphs you're going to want as your marksman hunter. The first one's pretty obvious, is the glyph of aim shot. Every time you crit with aim shot, you gain 5 focus. You aim shot all the time, so you're going to be gaining the benefit from that glyph a lot. Next one that you want to pick up is steady shot. You're going to be steady shotting all the time, which increases damage dealt by 10%. So you might as well make your steady shots hit harder. Yep. Next one's optional, glyph of kill shot. This one resets the cooldown on your kill shot when your target's below 20% if it doesn't kill it. So you can double kill shot during burn phases, etc. You can swap this glyph out with rapid fire, which is increased haste from rapid fire by additional 10%, which is a perfectly fine substitute for the kill shot. Personal choice. I prefer kill shot simply because I like to do more damage at the end. Next glyphs we're going to go is major glyphs. First one, glyph of disengage, decrease the cooldown at by 5 seconds. This one's pretty obvious. Next one that you're going to want to pick up is glyph of raptor strike. This one's mandatory because every time you use raptor strike, reduces damage taken by 20% for 5 seconds. Anytime there's heavy AoE damage, just raptor strike it up. 20% reduced damage. Your healers are going to love you. Next one is personal choice. I use trap launcher all the time, so reduced focus cost on that is extremely nice. You can swap this one out for maybe deterrence or glyph of mending or concussive shot, I guess. Ice trap maybe, depending on what you want to do. Minor glyphs, all these are completely optional except for glyph of feign death, which reduces your cooldown on it by 5 seconds, which is your main aggro dump. And everything else after that is, personal choice, whatever you want to do. I use lesser proportion revive pet. But yeah, that covers that.